This is Lesotho, home to one of the top off-road events on the international calendar. An event where man tackles not only the impossible and impossible, but more often than not, the harshest elements experienced in off-road racing. Would this year's fine weather hold out, or would icy snow and rain descend to put competitors through 3 days of grueling punishment? Lesotho Sun is proud to be associated with one of the world's greatest events for 26 years, the Roof of Africa Rally. The 1992 Mnet Lesotho Sun Roof of Africa Rally was round 7 for the total GTE Off-Road Championship. With the rally the second to last event of the year, most competitors were at a crucial stage in the championship stakes. For some, this would clinch national championships. For others, the agony would be drawn out, ensuring they have no option but to go through to the final event of the season with a championship issue still undecided. As is usual before a national championship event, competitors' machines have to undergo very rigorous pre-race scrutineering. Everything is checked, including first aid kits. Last-minute prepping of cars and motorcycles is the norm prior to any off-road event. And in the case of a long race like the Mnet Lesotho Sun Roof of Africa Rally, preparation is twice as meticulous. Going into the Mnet Lesotho Sun Roof of Africa Rally, the top 4 in the class were within points of each other. A good result would be a deciding factor in the championship stakes. Each driver was counting on gaining maximum points. Championship leaders Klaus Degnar and Jeff Bell have yet to win the prestige Mnet Lesotho Sun Roof of Africa Rally and were hoping to break the drought by crossing the finish line first in the BP Chenoweth. There's not much punishment these space frames can't take. A careful driver is the driver who makes it to the checkered flag in one piece. With a healthy lead over the opposition, Alfred van Vuuren and Piet Pelser would be very relaxed in their Sasol Toyota Hilux. For the next 2 teams, a good result would help restore lost pride. Van Vuuren and Pelser have won their class with monotonous regularity this year. Consistency, reliability and good preparation is the Free State team's recipe for success. The beauty of off-road racing is its unpredictability, and the pair was to be cruelly reminded of this later on in the event. Among the production vehicles, competition was bound to be tough. Despite Wilfred Westlau and Dagmar Blankner's lead in the championship, youngsters Craig Hopkinson and Martin Spencer were capable of another good finish after coming home in the top 10 in the Mabatu Sun 500. Lesotho locals Westlau and Blankner are former national champions and are known for maintaining a consistent pace. This is their final season in the faithful but aging Astoria Brett Van Beetle. The pair are hoping to finish off the season with a dash of glory. As one of the few female competitors in the roof, finishing well was especially important to Dagmar. On the bike front, 200cc class championship leader Brian Bontekoning was faced with a long haul on the Lesotho Office Equipment Kawasaki. The class is competitive, with everyone snapping at Bontekoning's heels. Although the smaller capacity machines have a weight advantage in that they're far lighter and more maneuverable than the bigger machines, they lack the power of the larger motorcycles. They cannot match the bigger bikes for sheer speed. Mind you, Bontekoning isn't exactly knitting here, is he? Among the 250 class, Lesotho rider Patrick Andrews had a good lead over the rest of the category. The finish within the top 3 at the Mnet Lesotho Sun Roof of Africa Rally was what he needed to stay ahead of Elfie Cox in the championship. Although making his 6th appearance in the race, victory on home turf has always eluded Andrews. This year he was determined to take the winner's laurels, and never before had a rider and the Lesotho Office Equipment Kawasaki been better prepared. Leading the 500 class category was Errol Dalton on another Lesotho Office Equipment Kawasaki entry. Only 11 points separated him from second place Hilton Hayward on the Cable-Lock Super Tyres KTM, and the pair are old rivals. The big 500 bikes have the torque and power necessary to handle the toughest conditions. After a couple of hours in the saddle in rally conditions, the big bangers are a real handful. Riders like Dalton have to be super fit and in top shape. Day one of the Mlet Lesotho Sun Roof of Africa rally follows a traditional format. First, there's the parade downtown, followed by the exciting and spectacular IGI Round the Houses racing section. The streets of Maseru are closed off, and spectators flock to grab the best vantage points to watch some serious action. For the people of Maseru and surrounding areas, the annual Round the Houses thrash is one of the highlights of the year. For the competitors, the parade offers the opportunity to indulge in a little fun. For the likes of Patrick Andrews, the serious business of racing is just around the corner. The IGI Round the Houses races are split into various classes. The Round the Houses action is followed by a 56-kilometer time trial to determine the start positions for the first of two racing sections over the next 2 days. This is the sort of action the IGI Round the Houses fans love. The Shillingthorne Motortech Raceco has the BP Chenoweth of Degner and Bell alongside, with a monster Isuzu of Linton Draper and Mike Pretorius hard on Degner's tail. Too hard, we discover later. Competitors have to complete 3 laps of the Around the Houses circuit, which features tar and dirt sections. It did not take long for Linton Draper and Mike Pretorius to stamp their authority on proceedings in the awesome Isuzu. Richard Schilling looking for his third Mnet Lesotho Sun win in a row, and Ashley Thorne were content to hold on to second place. Niels Eriksson and Johnny Walker in the Super Beetle were shadowing them, with Klaus Degnar and Jeff Bell hampered by a gearbox problem. For Draper and Pretorius, it was a high-speed drive in the park in a high-tech vehicle imported from the world of off-road racing in the United States. Schilling is a highly experienced driver who has the ability to pace himself over long events. And this year he was going for the hat-trick. Struggling with a loose gear lever, Degner and Bell decided on a short stop to sort out the problem before rejoining the fray. The Isuzu had a comfortable lead at the checkered flag, followed by Schilling and his Lesotho navigator Ashley Thorne in the Motortech entry. Klaus Degnar and Jeff Bell made a fine recovery after their unscheduled stop to fight back to third place. The second category off was led by 2 Class 9 entries. One of them was Robert Hawke in the Super Pave Raceco, who forced our cameraman into executing some nifty footwork. Veteran Harry Roscoe in the Protea Playing Card Raceco set the overall fastest time in last year's Around the Houses. Chasing Roscoe were Richard Carolyn in the Lubrication Equipment Stealth Bomber, followed by the Astoria Bakery bread van. History repeated itself, with Roscoe again setting the quickest time. Hawke made up a lot of ground to come home in second place. There was early drama for Oakwood Carolyn. He picked up a puncture and cruised around to complete his 3 laps. With the high-tech space frame runners out of the way, it was time for the Bucky Brigade to continue with the entertainment. Leading the fray was Springbok's Cassie Coetzee and Richard Leake in the turbocharged Toyota Hilux. Racecam provides a brief sample of what life is like in the cockpit of an off-road racer. There is a tremendous rivalry between the Bucky Brigade and the Space Frame drivers. The 4-wheel drive Bucky clan love wet and muddy conditions, with Lesotho's notoriously fickle weather looking ominously clear. More than a few truck drivers were performing rain dances on the quiet. One entry which this year created something of a stir was the Carrera Motors Porsche 911 of Franz Stangl and Stanley Illman. There were plenty of experts willing to wager the Porsche entered in the category for standard cars would not stand up to the rigors of an event as rugged as the Mnet Lesotho Sun Roof of Africa. Stengel and Illman were enjoying themselves hugely, with the Porsche picking up some additional decoration along the way. The car was rebuilt for the London to Cape Town Vintage Rally, but when that was cancelled, Stengel and Illman decided to go off-roading. An early boost for Harry Roscoe, who just pipped the Draper Pretorius Isuzu. Third place went to the Coetzee Leake combination. There was no snoozing among the motorcyclists when it came to their turn for a slice of the action. Although there were over 70 motorcycle entries on this year's start line, Only about half that number were expected to finish an event that over 26 years has built up a mystique of its own among those who revel in the challenge provided by racing in the Lesotho Mountains. Among the entries this year were 3 overseas competitors, with Americans Jimmy Lewis and David Rhodes and Joachim Hedendal from Sweden starting out on a journey into the unknown. It was the first time the Americans and Hedendal had tackled a motorcycle rally, but they were quickly up among the leaders in the Round the Houses pipe opener. There were also 2 entries from intrepid quad racers Vickers van Deventer and Billy Coetzee. Riding quad races is an art in itself. It requires a huge amount of skill, stamina and sheer guts. Over the years, the IGI Round the Houses section of the Mnet Lesotho Sunroof of Africa has become an integral part of the event. Crowds and competitors love it, and it creates a superb atmosphere. It's obvious his boy's doing well. There was an exciting finish with Yuri Himan just beating Natal's Richard Manning to the checkered flag. Disappointed Manning was followed by championship leader Brian Bontekoning on the Kawasaki. The 250 class dominated the top 5 in the IGI Round the Houses, with Jeremy Davies leading home Alfie Cox. Will Dalton was the first on the 500s. Tactics always play a major role in an event of this nature. 2-time winner Richard Schilling had his strategy mapped out.
The plan? To race this race as I'd race a normal race. Look after the car. Hopefully by tomorrow night have a pretty nice lead so that on Saturday we can take it easy and look after the car.
For Schilling's former navigator Rob Walk, winning the Mnet Lesotho Sunroof of Africa rally in the driver's seat of his own car has always been an ambition.
My strategy is to follow people who know the route, like e.g. Richard Schilling and Ashley Song. But you know, it all depends on what he does. If he's faster than me, obviously I won't keep up with him, but if he's slower than me, I must also go ahead. So I would like to say that if we've got the same pace, it's going to be a race of note.
The Porsche team had its sights set on winning Class 1 for standard vehicles.
We're racing this car in this event because this car was built actually for a race from London to Cape Town, which was cancelled. We had nothing else to do with the car in the meantime, so we thought we'd try it on the roof of Africa and see how we go. It's a Porsche, it's a 1970 model, which was a classic car. It's in a rally trim, and we hope that it does very, very well in the race.
Off-road races are a competitive lot, and some bumping and boring at the start of the IGI Round the Houses led to a lively discussion between old rivals Klaus Degenack and Linton Draper as the crews lined up to set off on the 56-kilometre time trial.
What was it for?
Man, it was changing gears in this
I was
thing.
changing. I had no
You weren't changing gears, man. Yeah, Klaus, you come here to race. Not to nut.